Today, let's talk about something that we've all experienced at some point. Red flags, baby. That's them little warning signs, them gut feelings, moments when something just don't feel right. Can't put it in words. And we've seen them in people's actions, in their words, and not only the way they treat us, but how they treat others, right? But here's the real question. Why do we ignore them? Why do we see the warning signs and still proceed like everything is fine? Why do we allow people to show us who they are over and over again and still pretend we don't see it? Huh? Well, it's time for a change, pimpin'. It's time we stop making excuses. It's time we start recognizing red flags, believing them, and most importantly, acting on them. So, what are red flags? Well, let me want to chop it up with you, B. A red flag is not just a bad feeling, it's a pattern. It's a sign of who someone really is beneath the surface. It's when someone shows behaviors that indicate they may not respect you, may not be trustworthy, or may not have your best interest at heart. Red flags, man, they can look like someone constantly lying or twisting the truth. Am I talking to somebody? Disrespecting your time, your feelings, or disrespecting your boundaries. Am I talking to somebody? Being inconsistent one day, they're kind, one day they're cold, on and off. Blaming other people for their mistakes, but never taking responsibility. Yeah, all that. Making you feel guilty for expressing how you feel. Does it sound like anybody? And yet, even when we recognize these red flags, a lot of times, man, we'll talk ourselves out of them. We'll say stuff like, you know what, maybe I'm overreacting. We'll say, they'll change, maybe. We'll also say, man, well, hell, I don't want to be alone, so I'll put up with it. It ain't that bad. But let me tell you something. Ignoring red flags, it don't make them go away, partner. It only delays the inevitable. What's going to happen is going to happen. So why do we ignore red flags? So many of us ignore the red flags because we don't want to face the truth, big dog. Plain and simple. Because the truth means we might have to walk away from someone that we care about. Am I right? It means we might have to set boundaries and enforce them. Stand by it on business. Let's be honest, that takes strength to stand on business. It's easier to pretend someone's better than they really are than to admit that these folks is hurting us. It's a lot easier to hope they'll change than to accept that they probably won't. It's easier to stay in a toxic situation than to face the fear of possibly being alone. But let me tell you something, man. Peace is always better than fake. Peace is always better than a fake championship. Your well-being is more important than keeping somebody around who keeps showing you they don't deserve you. So, setting boundaries, bro. Protecting your peace, partner. That's what's important. When you recognize a red flag, you got two choices, baby. One, ignore it and suffer the consequences. Deal with the repercussions. You know what that is. Or, number two, acknowledge it and take action. Taking action means you got to set boundaries. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Boundaries is not about being mean or cutting people off for no reason. Boundaries is about self-respect. And as a giver, you better have boundaries. The takers don't have none, dog. So it's like saying, I will not tolerate being lied to. I will not stay where I'm not respected. I will not allow someone to manipulate me into thinking I'm crazy for feeling what I feel. And here's the key one right here, dog. Once you set a boundary, you must enforce it. A boundary means nothing if you let people cross it without consequences. If somebody disrespects you and you let it slide, man, you just taught them that it's okay to do it again. And we don't want that. That gets old, I'm telling you, getting walked over. So having the strength to walk away, man, that's the hardest part of recognizing red flags. It's not seeing them, it's acting on them. It's having the strength to walk away from relationships, from friendships, to walk away from jobs, and sometimes environments that no longer serve you, or your greater good, or your purpose. It's hard, man, I get it. Walking away means stepping into the unknown. It means losing people you may have cared about. But let me ask you this, man. What's the cost of staying? Your peace of mind? Your health? If you stay in a toxic friendship, it drains your energy. If you stay in a one-sided relationship, it damages your self-worth. If you keep making excuses for somebody, you're betraying yourself. And that don't make no sense, man. Putting somebody in front of you, well, walking away is not weakness, it's power. You're choosing yourself when someone else refuses to. Last thought, man, trust yourself. The truth is, we don't need anybody to tell us when something is off. You already know, been knew. You'll feel it in your gut. You'll sense it in your spirit. We recognize it in the way when we start questioning ourselves. So let me leave you with this right here, partner. When you see a red flag, don't ignore it. When your gut tells you something is off, listen to it. That's the God in you telling you what's up. When someone disrespects you, disrespects your boundaries, hey man, walk away, baby. It's not your job to fix people. It's not your job to give endless chances. It's your job to protect your peace. It's your job to protect your mind and your heart. The moment you start recognizing red flags, start believing red flags, and start acting on them, man, you take back your power, partner. And that's when your life truly changes. It's just work, baby. Let's go.